Eamon Khan here for Seconds Out with Jack One Smack Massey. Jack, it is very cold. Good to see you keeping warm with the jacket. How you doing, sir?
I'm all good, mate. Yeah, it's getting a bit brass outside, but yeah, I'm all good, mate. I'm all good.
We're looking towards to heat up towards a Jan 20th day even on the Jonas Mayer undercard. What's the latest with that? Are you going to be seeing you in the ring?
Yes, mate. Yeah, so we've possibly got an opponent nailed down. Steve Ellendu. He fights out of Belgium. So we'll see where things are going in the next couple of days with that. But yeah, first fight back at cruiserweight this year. So looking forward to being back in there after a year out after the Joseph Parker fight.
Yeah, just give me a quick reflection on your last year. How do you feel heading into the new year? How do you feel you set yourself up for this year?
You know, I've got a new spark of life in me. I'm at a new gym. You know, I'm training with Joe Gallagher now, and I've settled well into this gym now, and it's been going great. You know, I've learnt a lot of new things off Joe, and Joe's experience is going to be massive for me, and I'm looking forward to putting a good performance on the 20th of Jan.
How does Joe compare to the Dragons? I sent you a text a couple of weeks back, wasn't it? I saw a clip of you on Dragon's Den. Wasn't expecting to see you on there. I don't know why I was watching Dragon's Den compilations anyway myself. But yeah, what's Joe's personality like in terms of training you? And give me a little bit about that Dragon's Den experience as well.
Yeah, he can be similar, can't he, Joe, to some of the Dragons now and then. You know, similar personality. But yeah, it's a funny one. We did it. I think it must have been. It was probably 4 or 5 years ago now. I ended up on that, and there was these guys who used to come down to the gym, and they had this thing called corner. It's still going, and it's basically you put it in your wraps under your gloves, and it counts your punches, what punches you're throwing and stuff like that. So your punch output, and they took it on Dragon's Den, and he was doing a bit of work with me at the time, and asked me to go on Dragon's Den and just basically do a demo for it and hit the bags and what have you. So yeah, it was a funny experience. It was a good day. It was a long day. They put a load of makeup on me, but yeah, it was a good experience.
Good experience indeed. All leads up to the future. And just reflecting back as well as we head towards 2024, especially in light of what's happened recently towards the back end of last year with Joe Parker defeating Deontay Wilder. I wonder if you maybe kick yourself a little bit, maybe saying it could have been an opportunity I could have had potentially with that fight with Parker. How do you feel off the back of the way you fought Parker and what Parker's gone on to do? We knew Parker obviously was an accomplished fighter as well beforehand, but how do you kind of look at how's your perspective change after what Parker's done?
Listen, it is what it is, but he's you know, I'm very happy for Parker. I'm so glad he got the win over on Wilder. He just stuck to his game plan, and he was just consistent all the way through the fight. Didn't let off. You know, they obviously said before the fight that they had a game plan and they was going to stick to it, and that's exactly what they did. And they got the win over Wilder. And you know, I think with Joe, he was consistent before that fight. So I think he had two more fights after me, and I think that was the key for him, just to keep on fighting. And you know, he got Wilder out of there, which is you know, great for Joe.
What were you surprised by?
I was massively. I was surprised. Obviously, Joe's performance was amazing, but I was a little surprised with Wilder's performance. I was a little surprised that was he the Wilder on the night? Was he himself, or did Joe just have a perfect game plan? I don't know, but I think it was a bit of both.
So you had a little bit of fun on Twitter saying, "Look, I could find the right hand." You know, why did you feel that you were able to find that right hand and Wilder wasn't?
Yeah, you know, the post was a little bit of tongue-in-cheek, to be honest. I think a few people got a bit, especially some of Joe's fans who I spoke to Joe the day after. I was like, listen, you know, give him a message. He said, "Oh, it's all noise, bro. Don't worry about it." But yeah, it's just a bit of tongue-in-cheek. But styles make fights, and different fighters is, you know, get off on other fighters and manage to catch other fighters with shots. So it's styles make fights, and it was just one of those. And I think Wilder was just looking for that right hand. And if you're just looking for one shot, then you're not gonna find it if someone's staying out of the way of that shot.
Setting your stall out for this year, in your own words, what is it you're looking for? What is it you want? What is it you're targeting?
We want a busy year this year, so we've got this fight on the 20th. It's going to be a 6-rounder. Get back in there, get a win back under the belt, and keep snowballing, keep the ball rolling. Get another fight, you know, 8 to 10 rounder, and then we can push. We can push for something whether it's the billam-smith, Jay Opetaia, I'd like that fight. There's big fights out there, Richard Riatpo, other world titles. So we'll see what's there for the taking back end of the year.
Not saying anyone's running away, but you don't get many people calling out Jay Opetaia.
No, listen, people are avoiding myself. They have been for years. And people are avoiding Jay, so why not make it happen?
Who do you feel stands? I know you'll back yourself and you call yourself at number one. At least you want the opportunity to prove it. But outside of yourself, who do you think stands at number one? Do you feel it's Jay?
I'd say Jay. Yeah. I like his style. I'm not going to say because he's in the same weight division that I don't like him and he's no good and all this. But he's a good fighter and he's a good all-around fighter. And I like his style and I'd love that fight.
You've been no stranger as well to wanting and really wishing for that Chris billam-smith fight there. How do you feel Chris billam-smith has really developed and moved on, gaining the world title and defending it as well in Bournemouth? How do you feel he stands as a challenge?
Yeah, he's done really well to get where he's got to. But I think that's, when you look at styles, talking about styles and fights, I think that's a great fight for me. And I think it's a great fight for the fans. I think it'll make it a really good fight. He's got a good fan base, but personally, I think he's going to struggle to keep hold of that title. I think he's sort of reached his level and he's got to that level, and I think there's guys out there who can beat him. So I won't mind getting in there first and taking that belt.
The attention turned to Jan 20th, and we mentioned that you're hoping to be out on there. Tasha headlines the card against Mikaela Mayer. How do you feel she'll get on against the accomplished American?
Tasha's going to knock her clean out. She's still behind me as well. So yeah, it's going to be a great night of boxing. I'm looking forward to it. And first fight in Liverpool in my professional career, so looking forward to that as well. The Liverpool fans always turn up, so it'll be a good night. I'm looking forward to it.
Naturally, as you mentioned there, you'll be back in Tasha to get the victory, but turning your attention to Mikaela, what do you feel are her biggest traits heading into the fight that Tasha will have to be wary of?
So, I've not really seen much of her, to be honest. I'll be honest, and I've been training with Tasha for probably 8 or 9 months now, so I've been watching Tasha spar and seeing what she can do. And to be honest, I won't like a crack off Tasha watching her on the pads and sparring. So I'm just capable in what Tasha can do and get in there and get the win.
Fair enough. Jack, I'll leave the final word to you, to the cruiserweight division, if you want to send a message to them, or just a message to the year that you're wishing for. What would you like to say?
Let's make these fights happen, boys. Let's get it on.
Jack, pleasure is all mine. Hopefully see you in amongst the Dragons, whether it be the Dragons Den or the Dragons or the cruiserweight division. Once again, thanks so much for speaking to Seconds Out, sir.
Thank you, mate.